Thank you for tuning in to Radicards TV on Radicards.com. I'm your host, Patrick Greeno. This is my buddy, Dan G.
What's up, Pat?
Hey, Dan.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
Awesome. What'd you bring for us today?
So you and I were discussing last week. I was picking up some of the 2020 Topps McGwire stuff that's been coming out. So the silver pack stuff is always cool because it's like the Mojo refractor.
And I'm with you there.
They do all the colors.
Yeah.
And so I picked up a lot. It was just 3 cards. It was 2 of the base. And at the time I thought it was the black version, but it was actually the blue version. And I mean, it really kind of is a stunning card in person.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I would talk about this one. Now I believe these are numbered to 150. 150. And it's the classic 85 design.
I dig those.
No, they're really cool.
I think the Mojo to style on these cards, these finishes are very tastefully done.
Oh, they're fantastic.
And when I first saw them a couple of years back when they started doing this,
right,
I was all into it, but I had to like control myself because it's a modern. So
right.
It's post-career, there's going to be a lot of stuff, but I really dig this design. I dig this product. I'm a fan of this release. And I think all the colors look great.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think I put together the run in 2017, but
I haven't. The 87?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I haven't touched it since, so I don't have anything else from that line. I even got the 1 of 1, the black 1 of 1. But these are they're stunning cards, man. They really are. And, it doesn't matter to me what color, because I think all of them are done well. There's a red to 5, an orange to 25, a gold to 50. The standard color print run. Run. I like the concept of this regardless. I think it's just really well done. And I know that Thomas is in this set, and he's got the non-chrome version with the parallels and the autographs, and then you've got the chrome versions with the parallels, and I there's just a lot to chase.
There's too much. So I like to grab the here and there.
Yeah.
But I don't actually go for the entire rainbow.
It's a lot.
I mean, it would be nice,
right.
But it's hard when one of these pop up and it's short printed and they want $70 for it or something.
Right. Well, it depends on the actual parallel, because the red Thomas to 5, one sold earlier this week, and I think it went for like 160.
Wow.
Auction style. And then the 1 of 1 silver border autograph, the non-chrome version, sold for a couple $100 that same day.
Wow.
And so I didn't buy them. I just kind of saved images of them and just to have a reference of them. But I do dig the product, and I'm again, a part of me for a while there was kind of not into reproducing these sets that reproduce old designs.
Right.
Because I saw so much of that stuff over the years. And then Tom Seaver in a 2007 set. It kind of gets old after a while. I like the concept of what Topps has done with archives, because they can do this forever. Mm-hmm. Because they released the base Topps set and they have archives. And so it just builds into perpetuity. You can have an old style design every year forever, and I think it's just really cool. Now, this is not an archives product, though.
No, this is 2020 Topps, the silver packs.
Silver pack, right.
Hobby boxes.
Because I kind of put this in that same category of like pulling an old design.
Yeah.
Heritage is cool because it's every year it's the next one over.
Right.
But with silver packs,
they skip around.
They kind of skip around a bit, and because 2017 was the 87 design, 18 was the 83 design,
and this year's
19 was the 84 design,
that's right, 84,
and then this year's the 85 design. Right. So it's like they skipped around from 17 to 18, because I think 17 was the first silver packs year, wasn't it?
I think so. But
yeah, and then so they're kind of like going all. So in 2 years, are we going to see another 87 Topps design? Because they're going in the 83, 80, 45. If it's keep going, then in 2021 we'll have the 86 design. 2022 we'll have the 87 design again. I don't know, but it's cool. I like this, and even if that happens again, I'm still going to be for it. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
But this was a great ad. Now, Dan, you had mentioned before we started recording, you're not a fan of the backs of these.
No, I think they're kind of in my opinion they're a little small, and the red on green was always hard to read to begin with.
Yeah.
But somehow this is not attractive in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The original was a little bit easier from my perspective to read. If there's some sort of gloss that just kind of almost makes the letters blend in together.
You don't like that?
I wish they still had the paperback like the old ones did.
Well, I don't think we can reproduce that exact
True.
original, true to form 85 tops. I mean, maybe they can. I mean, it comes from the same company. So surely they could if they wanted to.
I don't know. It might be.
I mean, that technology is so far removed now.
Might be harder than we think.
Yeah.
It might be more expensive to do it that way.
Right.
I mean, you would think that they could do something very similar because with like the Heritage, right? Oh, by the way, happy Heritage Release Day.
Thanks.
The Heritage, they have the Chrome versions that are seeded into the packs, and I believe their backs are the same as the base cards.
The original base cards?
Yeah, they just haven't done a chrome front.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
The modern base and the modern chrome
have
the same backs. I think that's right.
I think that's right.
I don't do the Heritage thing, but they have a huge collector base.
Oh, I love Heritage.
I love it too. I do.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. I just don't. I don't go and pursue it like ardently like other people. I don't pursue it at all. I just think it's a cool concept.
Yeah.
I like it, and I like that there's like different color refractors, like the black refractor.
Right.
It's crazy. We're already up to 1971. I mean, it's really 20 years into the product because they started in 2001, and now we're at 2020. And that's 20 full years if you include 2001. And so that's kind of cool to think about that. Do you think that the amount of parallels that exist for, say, just the chrome or just the paper, do you think it's too many for one arm of the versions? Like, okay, this guy here. So we've got the 1 of 1, the 1 of 5, the 1 of 25, the 1 of 50. I think there's a 1099.
Right, that's the green.
There's a 150, the blue. I think there's a 299, the black, and the base. So you're already at 8 versions. Do you think that's too many? Or do you think that's kind of around enough?
If you're not going after the 1 of 1s, I would say that's a good number.
That's a fair amount.
Yeah, but then you have to add in that there's autograph versions and
the base,
all
the versions of those,
the colored autos.
It's a lot.
It does become a lot.
It is.
So I mean, I think it's cool. I like chasing certain colors.
Yeah.
And if the opportunity for others comes up, you're
going to try to put together a few more.
I don't know. It depends on the price.
Why did you get this one though?
So I'm part of why I guess part of the thrill of collecting is finding the deal.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times you can find like bundles of cards, and it's usually per individual cost basis a better deal.
Sure.
So I actually bought this with 2 other cards, McGwire cards, together.
So it made sense.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of a random buy.
It is a random buy. Yeah.
Because we don't buy a lot of post-career stuff. You do, I think, more than I do.
I buy more than you for sure, but
I kind of just sort of watch the market. I observe the market, see what's coming out, what's been released, what's surfacing, what's sold, and then just keep tabs on what's what. So I get an understanding of the product and everything else. But we talked about this before, that it's not realistic to try to pursue all of it.
No, I mean, I want all of it.
Yeah, right. So do I.
But I mean, it just made sense with the fact that I was just trying to get the base version, and I could get the base version, 2 copies of the base version, and this almost for the price of what I would pay for the base version.
Yeah.
So I just threw out a bid, thinking if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't.
Pretty good price.
And it was a pretty good price.
Did you have any competition?
I don't think anybody bid.
You were the only bidder?
I think I was the only bidder.
Nice.
Which was surprising because I know that individually this card sells for significantly more than what I bid.
Yeah, well, we got to consider things like SEO, keyword,
Yeah.
like description, product description, titles, things like that. All the things that go into SEO.
Yeah.
I mean, I've come across recently amazing deals on cards that would otherwise sell for high if they were listed correctly.
Yeah.
And so, And we're talking a huge margin difference between, $35 and $250. Pretty large margin, right? Right. 10 times more even. And so I think that with something like this, did it have a good title and good description?
I think the title was fair. Yeah. I think really with the issue, and I might be totally wrong here, but 2020 Topps, they opened the year with the 1 million card rip thing where they had 1 million.
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, this was just a few weeks ago, right? And so I think like that kind of kicked off a lot of hype and people were excited, and then it's available everywhere. Like there is no shortage of 2020 Topps supply, whether you're buying like hobby or retail. I mean, you can go to any Target and they'll have 30 blaster boxes. It seems like it's become a filler for things that they don't have a lot of when you go to the retail stores. So, I think maybe some of the hype died down faster than normal because of its availability.
I mean, too much supply reduces demand because people, like guys like me, we get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then we just lose interest.
Oh, and then part of it is like, I would love to get a retail box.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a hobby box.
Right.
To get the silver packs, but, you're talking a lot more money.
Yeah.
And so I think it's kind of out of sight, out of mind right now.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are really excited about Heritage today. I know that in the last week and a half, there has just been huge hype for Optic basketball. I mean, people are fighting over it apparently.
It's worth fighting over.
Well, yeah. I mean, shoot, you're not able to find it. So when you do find it, you probably are having to fight 2 other guys or, the Target employees to get it. Right? It's just
kind of just missed the Toys R Us market at this point.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I was looking at the card number on this, and I always think 401 is the McGwire 85 Topps, and of course modern product and its own standalone set, different image, everything else.
Right.
They have no reason to put 401 as the card number on that card.
Right.
They'd have to put a subset number, which is whatever the precursor is in the card number. It's pretty normal. I was just noticing that as we're talking.
Yeah.
Great card to bring by. Glad we got to talk about it. Awesome set. I'm a big fan. I know Topps works really hard to produce everything throughout the year. They work diligently to produce this stuff. So there's forever a market. So awesome, man. Thanks for bringing that by. Sure. The one I'll be talking about today is 1999 UD HoloGrFX. This is the launchers. This is the gold parallel, the Griffey. Now this is one of those cards that was listed with a very poor title, but I found this serendipitously through searching for something else, and I watched it, and I was one of a few bidders, and I got it for just a couple dollars.
Oh wow!
And so I was like, great. Now, launchers gold is not a big deal. The insertion ratios are high. It's like 1 in 100 and some packs to get the gold versions of these, but they don't have super high demand. They're available. You can find them around for a couple dollars. Yeah. So they're not that big a deal, but the story that I have behind launchers gold for me is when I had moved to California in 2009, I still needed the Thomas launchers gold, and I found a shop, 2 shops that were within like a block apart, city block apart from each other, and I ended up working on one of them. But I remember going in there, both of them, in that fall of 2009, a couple of months from October to December. And then into January of the following year, 2010. And I was going through whatever Thomas's they had. And one of the shops had the gold launchers. Thomas was like, oh my gosh, I finally can get this card. It's not that big a deal. I got it for like a couple of $1 or $2, whatever the thing is. But I remember being like floored by finally got the launchers gold. Right. I had the silver, and I saw on the checklist that there was a gold parallel, and I looked and looked and looked, and I hadn't found them. And they're not terribly difficult to find in the current market. Like I said, they printed these. They're available. They're just harder to find than the silvers. It's like the 96 Collector's Choice Crash the Game gold and silver. It's like that version of difficulty. Like the silvers and golds are available, kind of. Silvers being more abundant than golds. And if you search a while, you can usually cherry pick stuff for a couple bucks. So this is the Griffey gold. And I'm kind of thinking about putting the set together because I like this set because of the design. It's just pretty. and the golds are they look well. The gold foil works really well with this kind of like cylindrical precious metal gems 98 kind of thing going on in the background. So I'm a big fan of this. This is, like I said, the Griffey. I rarely pick up Griffey stuff because I don't PC Griffey anymore. I stopped PCing Griffey when I left the hobby for a hiatus of 5 years in late 98. And I haven't really picked up much of his stuff since. But every now and then I'll get something for like a set I'm building or a rookie card for cheap or whatever. And this is just, I got this because there's nothing wrong with buying Griffeys for one.
No, never.
But for two, it's for a set that I like. And I just want to talk about it because it's one of those late 90s sets that's minimally discussed. I mean, I've seen some posts online about like, hey, I'm working on the set, whatever. They've got like a spread of silvers and golds. I always like that. It's cool. So when I got this, I was like, well, that's cool. I have the Thomas now and the Griffey, and so most of my hard work is over.
Right.
And it's full of the classic guys from the 90s, that roster. I'm always like drawn to that roster because that's the roster I was collecting when I was a kid.
Right.
Like Juan Gonzalez and Chipper Jones and those guys. And so I was glad to finally get this. Just a really cool thing. I think HoloGrFX didn't get the same collector appeal when it came out. I even like the gold awesome parallels are just they're cheap.
Yeah. But they're really cool.
They are.
And I can't figure out why they didn't get that. And I'm trying to remember if back then, if it was a price point issue.
I don't know. I was out of the hobby when this product was launched. I was, skateboarding and taekwondo, and I was pursuing other things in my life. And so by '99, I was nowhere near baseball cards that year. So I don't even know what the price point on this was.
I don't remember.
I'd have to like go back and do research.
I always think it's such a cool set. Just in general, the cards across the board. The awesome.
They're gold.
The golds.
Yeah.
Those are awesome.
They're great.
Yeah.
I mean, the cards themselves, the design are total snapshot to the era of '99, that year. Certain years have themes. You can tell they're like, oh, that's totally a '97 card.
Yeah.
That's a '98 card for sure. I like I said in a previous video I talked about, there's so much cool stuff to collect from '94 and '95. And that stuff is so easy to identify because it says on the card what year. Right. Whereas in '99, 2000, 2001, with the Game Used stuff coming out and Upper Deck going crazy with their producing all this stuff, it became difficult to identify what years some of that stuff came out.
Right.
Like really hard.
Yeah.
Like 99 through 2001 it's a mind-boggling set of years for product identification, specifically with Upper Deck.
Right.
And so when this came out, I was gone, but I came back in the hobby and I was buying collections of Frank Thomas cards in 2003 to 2008, and I was filling holes in my collection. And after that point, I was buying like specific singles that were surfacing. But
right.
I remember 2010 being really excited to get the Thomas Gold of this found in a box. In that same box, I found 93 Leaf. Frank Thomas, the promo that has the Franklin logo on the glove.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was in that box too. And some other gems. I ended up buying out that entire collection before I left California. I just went in and I was like, I want all your Thomases. I'll just offer you straight out flat. And I did. And I walked away with the rest of whatever I didn't buy the first couple of years I lived there. So I have a lot of searches set up on eBay. And so I come across all kinds of things, and sometimes I'm like, hey, this is rare. If you don't have it, this is a good deal, just to share it with other Thomas collectors or whatever. And I'll keep a watch on, completed sales. If you've been you've been absorbing Radicards content for a while, you realize I do a lot of market research just to keep tabs on the hobby. I gravitate toward 90s and early 2000s stuff because that was, that's the type of stuff I like the most. Mostly 90s though, but this is like right before he was traded to the Reds.
Yeah.
And I realized the Griffey guys they're purist with this stuff. They prefer Griffey on the Mariners. Yeah. They collect specifically, like I just want Griffey on the Mariners. And like Griffey on the Reds, they just don't have the same.
Yeah.
They don't have the same love for it. That's fine. There's a lot of great Griffey stuff on the Reds that goes for pretty cheap because of that. But That aside, this is 1999 UD Ionics HoloGrFX gold parallel, and this is the Griffey.
Cool.
Do you have any comments?
I'm good, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So the back. The outline frame of the text has gold print. So just, I'm sure you're to notice that by now. But anyway, there you have it. The cover's such a cool concept. So it's not exactly like the PMGs from 98, but it has a similar appearance. Yeah. I like that. All right. Thank you for tuning in to Radicards TV on Radicards.com. I'm your host, Patrick Greeno. And until next time, enjoy collecting.
Take care.
If you like this content, please subscribe. Thank you. Enjoy collecting.